Welcome everybody. Welcome again. Hey, I'm Adam here. Welcome to Movie News Monday, episode 1 of Movie News Monday. The whole point of Movie News Monday is to have shorter content for you guys, no more than 5 to 10 minutes. The 5 to 10 minute range is what I should be saying. Could be a little less, could be a little more, but no more than 10 minutes is really what I want to push for these YouTube videos. We are going to be talking a couple things, but before I announce that, please make sure you guys are subscribed. It really does help a lot. We would appreciate it so much, both Miguel and I. But now that this is Movie News Monday is premiering here on the Our Real Addiction YouTube channel, there's things you need to be aware of, I should say, mainly because this is the second show on the podcast. So you're going to want to be subscribing because, one, this is a YouTube exclusive show. This is the only place you're going to be able to watch this content. And the other, instead of just like clips, we'll post clips of this, but there's not going to be an audio version of these videos. It is strictly YouTube, only here on YouTube. YouTube exclusive is the word I'm going to use, or the phrase I'm going to use. But we do have a fun episode for you. For episode 1 of Movie News Monday. We're going to be talking about a little bit of article of what's going on with Disney. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Wes Anderson experience for his new film coming out. Going to be breaking that down for you. And also Across the Spider-Verse. It's looking like it's going to be a global box office juggernaut, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about how much it's made and where it kind of compares to the first one as of right now, and give you a little insight on where it may be falling. First things first, though, we're going to jump into the smallest in news, in my opinion. I found this article from the New York Times, and it's by Brooke Barnes, and he writes the article on Sean Bailey, who is the president of the Walt Disney Studios production. He's the president, I should say. The article goes on to talk about all the success Sean Bailey has had throughout his career at Disney, but it really focuses on really reimagining all his animation films that got reimagined into the live action films that a lot of Disney fans really didn't care for, outside of like Beauty and the Beast and the originality with Maleficent 1 and 2. But the most specific thing is that it talks about, obviously, like I said, his success. However, it does give us a little insight on what is coming outside of Moana and Hercules and Lilo and Stitch. I'm just going to read this small little paragraph for you guys, so if you already know, great, but if not, this is kind of a shocker, because the article, it doesn't even really focus on specifically this film coming out. However, this has been the highlight point of it. So it talks about, obviously, Sean Bailey, and Brooke Barnes writes, Mr. Bailey, who watched The Little Mermaid 18 times as it worked its way through Disney's pipeline, has more than 50 movies in various stages of development and production, including live-action versions of Moana, Hercules, and Lilo and Stitch. He also goes on to say that, yes, Hocus Pocus 3 is happening, as his division makes 2 or 3 big budget films annually for releases in theaters and 3 modestly budget films for Disney Plus. It's weird because, like, I mean, we haven't heard anything about a potential sequel for Hocus Pocus 3. I can only assume it's going to be another Disney Plus release, as that is what they did with the second one. However, I do think it is interesting that they are choosing to go this way, given that Hocus Pocus 2 wasn't really well received by those who were watching it. A lot of people didn't like the film. It bombed with a lot of people who had seen it that opening weekend, I should say, on Disney Plus. People weren't liking it. It is scored 64 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6 out of 10 on IMDb. Excuse me. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. However, I'm really not surprised, only because Disney does tend to make films that aren't really needed for sequels, but tend just to get them anyways. We're gonna move on to the next portion, or the next topic, I should say. So, if you haven't already heard about Wes Anderson's new film, Asteroid City. First things first, it's got a star-studded cast. It looks so visually pleasing, as all Wes Anderson films do. For those who don't know, for those who haven't heard of the cast, it includes Tom Hanks, Margot Robbie, Scarlett Johansson, Edward Norton, Adrian Brody, Bryan Cranston, Steve Carell, and so many more actors and actresses that we cannot give enough praise to, because it's a star-studded cast. However, Landmark Theaters announced that the Hollywood Sunset location is going to have an immersive experience of the set when the film comes out. It does start on the 15th, so on that is a Thursday release. Obviously, that's not a big surprise considering how much we see films are obviously coming out. Everything is premiering on Thursday nights now. But if you are interested in it, the Focus feature has transformed Landmark Theater Sunset into a real-life asteroid city for an exclusive 2-week immersive experience. You will have the opportunity to explore the fictional town of Asteroid City in person while capturing photos with set recreations, props from the films, and costumes displays. Tickets are available for a standard or premium experience that will latter of which includes one exclusive T-shirt and concession combo only at their Sunset location. The film is an hour and 45 minutes. Please arrive scheduled at your scheduled showtime to walk through the immersive experience prior to watching the film. They are saying that the experience will take approximately 2.5 hours. So again, that does start on June 15th, later this month. If you're curious on how much pricing is going to be, it's a good question. Let's see. I'm going to find out for you right now. But it does look super, super amazing just because the film it looks awesome. Again, it's going to be 2.5 hours. We'll probably go into more depth about it a little more on the podcast this Wednesday, but it does look super exciting. They have a bunch of showtimes when it comes to the standard and the premium experience. If you're purchasing the premium experience, you have different showtimes as opposed to the standard experience. But moving on to the final topic of Movie News Monday is Across the Spider-Verse. So, without a doubt, Across the Spider-Verse is being highly appraised. If you haven't seen it, it did come out last Thursday. It's such an awesome film. We gave a review. Please check that out on the YouTube channel. We released it on Friday. Heavy spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen the film yet, don't check it out. Or unless you just don't care about spoilers, and then go ahead and check it out. However, it made $208 million in its opening week, and that is incredible for an animation film, especially with this film, with a film that didn't do, its predecessor didn't do too well, but was so well received. One thing Miguel and I have always talked about on the podcast is how Into the Spider-Verse did not get its praise, or I should say its flowers, until people started seeing it on streaming services. It's so amazing. Its domestic box office is currently sitting at 120 million, and its international is currently sitting at 88 million, making the grand total of 208 million. If you're wondering where that lines up to Into the Spider-Verse, that does line up to Into the Spider-Verse. It is only 180 million, less than 180 million behind its predecessor, because Into the Spider-Verse made 384 million, more or less split evenly down the middle. Domestically made 190, internationally making 194. Across the Spider-Verse is going to be making way more than what Across the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse did. I'm gonna honestly say I think we can project it at honestly close to maybe 500 million, maybe plus. I don't think anywhere near 600 million, but who knows? The summer season, if it's taught us anything, that films are making money, especially with what Fast 6 has done, and even Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's been amazing. It's so good to see the success, just because it deserves it. It really does deserve it. But yeah, that is gonna do it for Movie News Monday. I hope you did enjoy. Don't forget to follow all the socials. They're gonna be linked down in the description below, and all the articles that I did reference on this, as well as links to the Asteroid City experience. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. Catch you on episode 2 of Movie News Monday.